Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Kaiju, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hey there, collectors, it is Steven here. I hope you're doing well today, because we are going to be taking a look at the Ultra Act Ultraman. For pronunciation purposes, we are going to go with Belial. Belial here is one of the original Ultra Act releases, so not only is it old, but with new popular Ultras like Orb, especially the Thunderbuster form, and with Geed being just recently in the public eye, Belial has climbed up in the price ranking, and for such an old figure, some folks are really wondering whether or not it's worth that purchase, because sometimes these things can go for as high as $150 in used condition that might have a couple of paint scuffs here and there. Fortunately, I was lucky and I did not pay that much, so with that in mind, I think I can take a realistic review approach to this one. So let's take a look to see whether or not he's worth adding into your collection. Now, this review is a patron's pick. Each month, all of my patrons on over at Patreon get a chance to vote in a review that they would like to see for the month, and it is dedicated to all of them. So if you are interested in maybe picking out the review for next month, head on over to my Patreon right now, get signed up, so this way you can get more behind-the-scene looks than just my social media, and you can get some sweet pictures and maybe a couple of cool perks too. Alrighty then, on to the review. Typically speaking, with old figures, there will be some drawbacks, such as poor engineering, maybe paint applications weren't necessarily the best in sculpt. Some of the sculptors, probably their first real big-name job, they were just getting up off the ground here. But fortunately, Belial was blessed. We're going to look at the articulation in a little bit, but in terms of looks, even though close to source material, yeah, he does resemble Belial. There are a lot of similarities here in terms of accuracy, but aside from that, even if you were to point out some of the inaccuracies, Belial looks fantastic, especially for the original MSRP for this guy here. The black and red design naturally clashes well. Obviously, it's a nice chaotic look, but here on Belial, we do have some fantastic wash that is used in key areas to really accentuate some of the sculpt marks for his muscles. We do have some texture in the sculpt to make it look like the suit. His armor is ripping. We have use of translucent parts in key areas. Overall, Belial is a fantastic looking release. However, there are a couple of quality control issues here and there, but to be honest with you, with figures from this time period and even some figures released today that are worth much more than this guy was at release, that have worse paint issues, to be honest with you, Belial here really doesn't have too much wrong with him. So taking a look at him up close, we do have those translucent yellow eyes, which look stunning here. They really do look cool, and if you shine light on it and catches it just the right way, Belial looks even more ferocious. What's even more cool than this is that we do have a special type of plastic used for his head, so this way it really replicates that metallic look that the actual suit has for Belial. Anyway, continuing on down for the rest of Belial here, you can definitely see up close there are a couple of issues here and there with red paint bleeding outside of the lines, which, to be honest, that's not a huge issue here because, well, Belial is very chaotic, and in most of the spots where that's going to happen, it's going to be hard to tell anyway. And to be honest with you, it pretty much is forgiven when you go just a little bit down farther and you start to see some of the awesome shading begin to kick in, specifically around the abdomen area. Very cool there. As we continue to look throughout Belial, we can definitely see little scratch marks and hashes here and there that really do make it look like Belial has been scrunching around in this area or that area. So this way, when you pose Belial, it does look like that suit is moving along with the suit actor underneath. So that is a fantastic touch added here. Alongside that, the proportions do look very nice, and Belial does look like an overall monster. Yes, the paint maybe could be touched up here and there a little bit, maybe some tighter quality control in terms of plastic being removed from the mold perfectly, but at the end of the day, when you look at major feats like his back, Belial looks fantastic. Belial's articulation is unfortunately a victim of the times back when he was released, because even though most of the joints hold up relatively nicely today, we got some interesting engineering choices that result in well, let's take a look. So because he has an interesting design and he's not like your average Ultra, he actually does have a joint for the jaw, so this way he can open and close his mouth and he can reveal those teeth like I showed you earlier. He also has a hinge where his head moves up and down like this, so he can headbang if he wants. Then he has a ball joint where the head attaches into the neck. You see the problem here? So let's think of, like, let's say Godzilla 2000 Millennium. Belial here can kind of look to the left and to the right this way, but only insofar as that one ball joint will allow his head to move. So there isn't another joint hidden in here, so this way he can turn his head even farther. You see what I mean? So it's cool. I mean, it works. He can look down about that far, look up about that far, but yeah, I don't know. They could have engineered that a little better. I think if he were to be made today, they could take care of that, but still. Shoulders are your average Bandai style of humanoid shoulder. Really tight ball joint insert into the body on mine. You can see I'm kind of struggling here to move his arms. But then, thankfully, we do have the hinge, which allows you to raise and lower his arms. Thankfully, we do get a little bit of a butterfly movement out of that, so that's good. We do have the bicep swivel. The uneven, angled, weird Bandai was still trying to figure out anatomy bicep swivel from back then. We do have a double hinge elbow, and we do have that swivel hinge wrist joint, where you will see that he also comes with an alternate set of hands that has articulated fingers. So that's pretty cool. So that's neat. All right, so now you saw the ab crunch, which is a ball joint, kind of a loose one for mine. But you can go down about that far, up about that far, and it does pop off with relative ease. So yeah, keep that in mind. Waist joint is about the same in terms of range of movement, but more so restricted leaning forward. So you really have to rely on both the ab crunch and the waist joint to get the full range of movement for Belial here. But rocking from side to side, pretty easy like that. The waist, hips, that whole area is the old pull down style. Unfortunately, the way that his legs are sculpted, that is about as far out as his legs can go. As far forward as they can go, let's take a look. About that far, his ultra booty does block articulation going backwards, so keep that in mind. We do have the ball joints as well as the swivels where they plug into the thigh. We do have the double hinged knees. We do have that old awkward ball jointed ankles for Belial here with a toe hinge as well. So this way you can get a little bit of an ankle rocker movement. Not all that much though, but you can spin them around from side to side. Now, something to keep in mind, because he has somewhat loose joints, he can be difficult to pose, especially because he's kind of top heavy. Since he has a couple of accessories, the Gigabattleizer specifically, that are kind of made of thin plastic, if he were to shelf dive or fall over while he's holding one of his accessories, or even if he has one of his splayed out hands, he may break them. So do be careful there when you are posing your Belial, and making sure that you're using some sort of support stand to ensure that he is standing and he is stable. Other than that, the articulation is serviceable enough to get Belial into quite a few neat actiony poses, which I've shown you throughout the review, so don't worry, you're going to get some movement out of him, but you know what? If he were made today, he'd be a little better. Now for accessories, and though Belial does use quite a few different moves throughout his time in the movies and in the various TV shows that he's been in, and he's adapted a couple of different weapons and attacks there, Belial only comes with a couple of different energy effects, and he comes with an extra set of hands. But let's recap all of the accessories. We get 2 splayed hands here for him. We get the Gigabattleizer, which is really cool because not only do we get a long pole, we get a short pole as well. We do get one tip that is energy infused, almost like it's getting ready to blast something or be used as a scythe, which we do get effect parts for both of those. Since this is an early Ultra Act release, there is no plug on the back of Belial, so this way we can insert a Tamashii Stage X support arm, and there's no L arm cross whatever beam effect for Belial in this release, unfortunately. But hey, it is what it is. So taking a quick look at the accessories here for the extra hands that we get for Belial here, they swap out just easily enough like any other Ultra Act hand would. You pop out the already attached hand and then you pop the new one on. Do be careful though for the splayed hands that, because they are articulated, 2 fingers move on hinges together and the thumb moves on its own hinge, that they might just pop apart on you. Yeah, be careful. The hands may separate. The left hand on mine does like to do that from time to time. The shell cracks open. If that happens, just clip it back together. Now taking a look at the Giga Battlenizer, it does actually look pretty sweet. The blue paint application used at both ends of the Battlenizer here, it actually is pretty intricate. Kind of surprising given Tamashi's current quality for some releases. Anyway, for the long one and the short one, it's used exactly the same way. You have 2 small little nubs at the either end of the pole, and you just insert those little nubs into the holes for the different attachment parts, and you're good to go. You just have to slide it into Belial's knot fist. Yeah, let's go with that. Now, if you want to use either of the effect parts, you just use the dedicated end attachment piece. So this way you can just slip on the blast effect, which is really easy to do, and it's actually painted pretty well with a nice orange core to make it look like there's an actual energy burst coming out of there. Again, you literally just kind of cap that on there. Nice, easy to slide in. Or we do have the scythe, which has an amazingly nice orange trail to it. Very, very cool here. There is really, truly an essence of motion for this effect part that just kind of clips on top of there, but you do have to kind of fight it to get that correct fit. But once you do, you're good to go. Keep in mind though, for this one, this does tend to weigh the Giga Battlenizer down a little bit, and it kind of makes the staff a little loosey-goosey in his hand, making some poses difficult to achieve. So at the end of the day, Belial does have some great accessories, and to be honest with you, for the original MSRP of around 50 to 60 bucks, I think he came with quite a good amount. Now keep in mind here, I'm talking about USD, not necessarily JPY. Overall though, I do feel like maybe we could have gotten one other effect part in here somehow. I don't know, maybe I'm just being greedy. But if you do need more, you know that there are plenty of more effect parts out there on the market. That being said, we do get a nice package here. Now to round up the review, here's a size comparison with quite a few other figures you may have accumulated over the years. So if you're still thinking about getting this guy, you can see exactly how big he is. Whether or not he's going to be leading the kaiju charge on your shelf, or if he's going to be throwing down with some SH Figuarts releases you picked up over the last couple of years, Belial should fit nicely on your shelf. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Gotta be honest with you here. I was able to get mine for about MSRP back when he first came out. Prices these days, that's a real tough pill to swallow. Gotta be honest with you here. I'd try to say tap out at around $100 max, unless you are an absolute diehard fan, which at that case, well, you should probably already have this guy on your shelf. At the end of the day, though, this is a pretty nice figure. Some limited articulation, but it was a sign of the times. Kind of. But yeah, Belial is nice to have, but you know what? At this point, unless you can find this guy for a striking deal, and I mean if you can find it for a good deal, don't hesitate, just buy it. Wait and see if they come out with the Figuarts. And no, I'm not talking about Belial Atrocious. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description, too, to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links, like the credits for this video, and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next